Hello, my name's Jeff York. I'm the CFO for Microsoft's Business Applications Division, and I'm here with Sarah Strauss from Capital One. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Why don't we start by talking about the forces that are driving transformation? And as we all know, life and work has changed a great deal in the recent months, almost overnight in the way that we do business. Tell us what that's been like for you at Capital One, and what are some of the challenges that you guys have been facing?
Yeah, great question. At Capital One, we are always looking for ways to, better serve and protect our customers, and thinking about fraud is a huge piece of that. And in the current environment, even more important than usual. I think there's a number of factors that have been incredibly important as things have been changing. I think first and foremost, there's a need right now to really think both for consumers, for merchants, for financial institutions, about potential identity theft, right? And what's going on out there. The Department of Homeland Security has even talked about in the current environment, coronavirus-related scams are on the rise, right? And so it's a big part of what we think about of how to protect our customers and consumers more broadly. And help them protect their personal information. I think the second thing that's been really important is as people are staying home more, we've seen a shift in spend into more, card not present e-commerce type of spending. That shift has been going on for a long time, but even more massive in the current environment. And card not present tends to have higher rates of fraud than card present transactions. And so it's been really important for us to keep an eye on that and ensure that we're protecting our customers and delivering great experiences when they're trying to spend. And then I think thirdly, just kind of continuing to encourage our customers to engage digitally and providing them with state-of-the-art digital capabilities. So, at Capital One, we have our AI digital assistant, which will send our customers alerts if a transaction looks suspicious, or if we see something on their account that we want them to take a look at. And so encouraging our customers to interact in that digital fashion has been important for us as well.
And can you say more about the role of technology? You talked about digital, of course. And can you talk about how Capital One and or the industry is embracing and bringing technology into this transformation?
Yep. Technology is really at the core of what we do, particularly in the fraud space. Because if you think about the fraud environment, being able to get access to information quickly, right? Being able to react, get that information to our customers, to empower them to act is incredibly important. So from a technology perspective at Capital One, what we've been able to do is build our own cloud-based authorization engine that allows us to ingest more data than we were able to previously to help our customers kind of at the point of sale when they're making a transaction to one, protect them from fraud, right? If the transaction is risky and ensure it doesn't happen. But just as important is ensure that if it is the customer on the other side of the transaction, that we're approving them, that they're able to get on with their spending and get on with their day. I'm sure you as a consumer well know, right? There's nothing more frustrating than trying to make a purchase and having that purchase declined or not understanding why it's unable to go through. And so our objective is really how do we use technology to ensure that we're delivering great experiences to our customers, but also protecting them in situations where their information may have been compromised.
Got it. Interesting. And then how does that in turn change the business practice for the merchants and the end customers?
I think the opportunity to leverage even more kind of data at the point of sale when the customer is making a transaction is really one of these rare opportunities where you can have like a win-win-win scenario, right? So if you're the customer, you have additional kind of capability to be protected from potential fraud. And you're going to be able, if it is you on the other side of that, more likely to avoid kind of that false positive decline or that opportunity, or not the opportunity, but when you actually get declined as a customer. If you're a merchant, right, this is equally frustrating. If you're about to make a sale to a customer and you feel really strongly that that's a low risk transaction, and then the bank on the other side declines the transaction and you potentially lose that sale. Or on the other hand, right, if it's fraudulent and the bank were to approve it. And so the merchant also has the opportunity to get additional spend and additional fraud protection. And then for Capital One as well, we want to approve our customers when it's actually them, right, and ensure that they're having a great experience. And so we believe that by leveraging technology and being able to engage with both merchants and consumers in a different way, really benefits the overall ecosystem incredibly well.
What were some of the biggest challenges that you encountered as you went through this change?
Well, I think the biggest challenge, and then equally the biggest opportunity that we've seen is, during a transaction, the merchant who's on one side of the transaction, they have a tremendous amount of information about their customer, right, and the relative riskiness of that transaction. And on the Capital One side, or on the issuer side, we have a bunch of data and information as well that helps us understand if the transaction is going to be risky. And historically, that we haven't been able to use that information in a collective way to make a better decision, right, and be able to kind of drive a better result to the customer. And so one of the biggest challenges, and why we weren't able to do that previously, is the underlying, sort of mainframe-based architecture that authorizations engines were built on didn't really allow for the speed of that data to kind of go across merchant and issuer rails. And so, I think one of the greatest challenges we had is how do we build a system that enables that to happen? And then once we have that, how do we ensure that the data that we're leveraging is consistent and ensuring we're protecting the privacy of our customers while being able to deliver a better result on both sides. And so I think we've done, a number of things to sort of work through those challenges. And now we're at the point where, we can create that opportunity and be able to deliver great results for our customers and for merchants.
We're very honored to be working with Capital One in the partnership. Can you tell us a little bit more about the partnership and what it does and everything that goes on there?
Yep. So we're also really excited about our partnership with Microsoft, and it's been great to work with you guys on this. So like I said, I think one of the things that we're working really closely with Microsoft on and the product that you guys have is how do we enable that data exchange between merchants with the information that they have on their customers and getting that over to Capital One so that we can leverage that to make better decisions on the authorization. And so I think what's been really cool is the way that we've built this, right, is it's a way to kind of for merchants to connect to a relatively sort of simple API, be able to kind of share data, with the right elements of consumer privacy and ensuring that we're doing the right thing there. And being able to kind of get that information over to Capital One before the kind of authorization comes through the Visa MasterCard network. And then we're able to sync that up and deliver a much better decision to the merchant and to the customer on, whether or not to approve or decline the transaction. And we think there's tremendous power in this capability, both to reduce those false positive declines that I was talking about earlier, to ensure that we're not declining good transactions and ensuring the customer is able to complete the purchase. But we're also seeing, increased ability for us to capture the true fraud, right? Which then reduces strain on the ecosystem of, merchants, kind of getting, us having to take a fraud claim at Capital One, merchants getting the chargeback and having to process that. And so I think there's an opportunity to just create tremendous value in this data sharing environment.
As we draw this conversation towards a close, Sarah, is there any advice or tips that you could share for others in the industry as they're about to go through a similar change like Capital One has?
I think a couple of tips that I'd share across the industry. One is, particularly in the fraud space, just the need to always be innovating and optimizing for the best tools to detect fraud as it occurs. Fraud is a moving target. Unfortunately, we have bad actors on the other side who are responding to the kind of cool new technology and defenses we put in place. And so you always need to be sort of innovating and thinking ahead around how can we, have more data, interact better with our customers to be able to prevent fraud from happening in the first place. And innovation is just a really critical piece of that. And then two, how do we collectively engage customers in the process of fighting fraud? And I talked a little bit about some of the digital tools we use at Capital One to be able to do that. But I think it's really important because customers are sort of on the front lines, right? And so how do you engage and enable them to sort of fight fraud with you and be able to say, hey, that transaction was me, it wasn't me. And if you can do that in real time, I find that customers can be an incredible ally in this fight to protect their information and protect against fraud.
Sarah, earlier in the discussion, you mentioned the word first step, and I think it's a key word for us as well. And we're super excited to take this first step with you. And the partnership between Capital One and Microsoft is very exciting. I think has a lot of opportunity. And I think you could say, we're in the first few steps of Dynamics 365 fraud protection with many more to come and lots more innovation. And I'm sure on your side as well. And so we look forward to taking those future steps with you. And thank you for your time today and the partnership so far. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys as well. We look forward to working together.
You bet. Thank you.